Obama, of course, will expect the new defense secretary, whoever that might be, to presumably continue to pursue a normal military-to-military relationship with China. And there's even been some forward progress on that. It's been a much more active relationship over the past year or more. Even as the tensions have increased with various neighboring states, there seems to be more of an effort to keep those channels open. But that said, there's been an enormous turnover in the military leadership as well in China. But the military leadership in China will take its cues from the party. So does the U.S.-China military relationship become elevated on the bilateral agenda? That's a fair question. And I'm not sure how. It would really depend, I think, a lot on whether or not we can see manifestations of tension of one kind or another. Remember also that President Obama has made very, very clear that his priority and his preference would be, as he calls it, nation building at home, which isn't to the exclusion of East Asia, quite the contrary. But I think that, in some circles there's some belief that, well, the U.S. is now going to try to heighten the pressures against China, even in the military area. I think objectively speaking, there are real limits to that, unless you really, really want to trigger something potentially much nastier. And I don't think that that's what Obama's preferences would be, quite the contrary. China's a major power. And if you had this gap between the overall economic capacities of China and its, if you will, its strategic ambitions, I don't see that anyone should be surprised about this, really. So, as always, there's the question of what do you do with the power that you have? If you acquire more power and more capabilities, does that make you tend to be more demanding, more assertive towards neighbors? Or do you simply see this as the way in which China's interests will be better respected? But, it is a fair question, and it may, if anything, still be a question mark that we have over what their goals and activities will be over the longer term. But they're talking about it, they're planning for it. And, the question in part for the United States, as well as for China's neighbors, is this a military that will seek cooperation with neighboring states, will seek to broaden the basis for U.S.-China relations in various areas where there are overlapping interests? Or is this going to be something that triggers more of a possibility of an accelerated strategic competition?